How are you going to stay focused on what you want if you're thinking about what you don't want constantly? What people did to you. This person did this. Every relationship I'm in, this is what I hear all the time. Every relationship that I'm in, this is my basic girl voice. Every relationship's the same. All fucking guys are the same, and I always get fucked in my relationship. Hey, you're the only common denominator, you turd. Everybody else is changing around you. The relationships change. What are you doing wrong that the same thing keeps happening to you? I don't know. And apparently you don't know either.
Life that we live in. Although we clearly divided,
what up? What up, gnocchis? Episode 2, it's your man Pots and Pans, back at it again. Welcome back. Episode 2. What we got? Brought to you by On It, the makers of Alpha Brain, which I just took. Alpha Brain, take it so your brain is not a beta. And also New Mood. Take it if you know what's good for you. That On It. Actually, that's a lie. Episode 2, still no sponsor, but that's fine. I'm bringing them to you. I'm sponsoring myself. I'm like a little marathoner. I can do this myself. Okay, but yeah. Eventually, maybe that'll change. I should probably get on it, and you should also probably get on it. Get it. Okay, but yeah. Here I am, episode 2. The week has gone by faster than I thought. Life just keeps going. Can't stop the train. But if you're watching this and this is like a year, since this episode has aired, then fuck it. Makes no sense. But this is the fastest week that I've ever occurred. That has ever occurred for me. Just trying to get this off the ground, trying to get other things moving, more content, actually footy, some teaching you guys how to do real shit in the kitchen for once, because you asked for it. You know what else you guys asked for? Somebody asked to move this thing out of my face, but here, guess what? It's all I've got right now. So I changed the angle. Okay, first of all, change your attitude. Person that said this, but I changed the angle. Now it looks like the arm's trying to put something in my mouth that I don't want to be there. I went from having a good time last week to now starting this close to starting a hashtag, and there could be some plants involved. I'm not sure yet. But what else has happened this week? I went to an influencer party. Jake Paul house, the Team 10 house, which was interesting. Let's just say that. I can't say anything else because as soon as you walk in, you sign an NDA. You walk in and there's an iPad built into the wall, which is kind of made of Legos. If you've never seen the Team 10 house, look it up. Like, watch one of the Jake Paul vlogs. It's ridiculous. Mini Jake Paul was there. All the Team 10 people were there. What I will say is, going in, I got invited by a friend, okay? And going in, I didn't know what to expect, okay? So I just went with an open mind, and, everybody was really nice. Quite frankly, I didn't know what to expect. Again, I'm not really in that world. So, and obviously everybody has, like, their views on Jake Paul, but I try to do that with everybody. Don't judge before you meet the actual person. And that's what I did. So I went in and I had a good time. I think we all had a good time. Okay, I'm trying to move the complaint was nobody could see my face. So what if I just practice my head movement for boxing, while I'm doing this? But the problem with this microphone is it's made for singers. So if I don't get into this region here that people on audio can't see, which makes no sense. If I can't get the rectangular region, then it just doesn't sound great. And also, my room is the size of a shoebox, so if I'm out here, we got a bad echo. Okay, so hey, I'm working with what I got. Okay, I'm trying to help me help you. All right, let's get into it because I'm already rambling. What else happened? I felt like I was about to say something, and I lost my mind. Oh yeah, let's set this timer again, cause this is how we do it. Shut up, no. Set a timer. That's a fucking calculator, dude. Hey, get an encyclopedia. Timer. Okay, let's set it for 23 minutes. What are we at? 4 minutes? Yeah, let's 22. Okay, back to it. What else happened this week? Lots of good feedback from the first episode, which honestly I'm really stoked about, and I can't thank you guys enough. I got a ton of messages, DMs on Instagram, people just saying that not only that they watched it, like if you just watched it, that's awesome. That's all I really want. But a lot of people are saying that they, took a lot from it. And the feedback that I'm getting is actually like exactly what I want. Exactly what I want to portray to people. Is like, I don't know everything, but these are the things that I think are important. And these are things that like I'm stoked about and I like learning all the time. And that's what I want to share, but I don't want to dumb it down. There's so many other podcasts for people out there who are way smarter than me. So if you hear something here and you like what's going on, you like it in the Mise En Place, you're like, oh, let me check more about this, then go to the other people's pages that I talk about. And I'm going to try to drop links so you can just go right there to other people's podcasts and get into the nitty gritty science. But people are saying, like you kept it real, you make fun of yourself, the comedy that's thrown in, but that part's awesome and I appreciate that. But also on top of that, I'm actually learning some things. So that makes me super stoked because that's my entire vision. Now, what else happened this week? So first of all, I just want to say thank you for everybody that's actually done that. Reached out to me, whatever. Your support is the greatest. But what else happened? I mentioned last week that, first of all, before I get into that, rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I just want to touch on this, and this is going to feed in a little bit what I want to talk about a little bit later, as far as like people's mentality and how it, if you don't take care of your shit and you don't figure out what's wrong with you, it can kind of become a virus. But rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, man. He is from LA, South Central LA. And I run in a little bit of those circles for the past 6 years, just doing mentoring and mentoring for little kids. And so I know some people that know some people. I run around with a few people that are close to him. His manager, his basically full-time videographer is a good friend of mine. And, everybody that talks about Nipsey was a visionary, and he was exactly who he portrayed himself to be. And, whether you liked his music or not, he was trying to make real change in the world and in his world, not just like in the world, but his world. He came from the ghetto. He came from the hood, South Central, which is obviously everybody kind of knows is pretty rough. And then he left and he made his money and he came back. He didn't just open up, businesses and just start selling a bunch of bullshit to rich people. He came back and he bought, his Marathon clothing store that he had on Crenshaw and Slauson, where he grew up. He was investing back into his community. He didn't just own the Marathon store. He owned the entire complex that the Marathon was in. And so he's providing jobs. Like, he actually came back, gave a shit. He came back to the hood. And the unfortunate thing is, like, that's why people don't want to come back. They make it. And, a lot of people give money. A lot of people donate. I know this from being in that world a little bit. Nonprofits in South Central. It's really hard to get people to come back to the hood because of that thing. Like, a couple of years ago, there was a video that surfaced. Cat Williams went back to the hood and got into a fight. Like, all these people were fucking throwing on him, like actually 7th graders that were his size. But I'm short too, so fuck me, right? But yeah, like, people don't come back to the hood because of shit like that, and that's just fucking really unfortunate, obviously. So rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I'm gonna come back to that. what I really want to talk about stems from me and my friend Gina. I mentioned this last week. You remember Gina? She the girl with all of the candles. Way too many of them, you know? She called me up and she's like, hey, chef, let's do this podcast. Come over. Let's make magic. And I was like, as soon as I walked in the door, I was like, hey, we doing magic or are we actually doing a seance? Hey, we recording a podcast or did I just walk onto the scene of the craft, volume 2? I guess not. There's like dried herbs and shit hanging. They look like Blair Witch symbols hanging from her kitchen. And she's like, that's for culinary reasons. But, you know, how do you explain the dead goat in the bathtub? You know, and there's all these tattered and torn books. She didn't even have microphones. She was like, come record this podcast. She didn't even have microphones. We just pressed record and yelled into a bunch of cauldrons, you know. So that was interesting. But Gina's podcast is about dating in LA, dating in general, and relationship dynamics. We talked about a ton of that stuff. We talked about, mostly the girl's problems because female. And, we talked about her recent dates, dating in LA, her experiences, and which is basically all of her problems because female, But then we also, these relationship dynamics, how they're changing male to female. We talked about energy, and we talked about this book that I got right here. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. This is a book that I gave to Gina because Gina, again, has not only all of the candles, and when I mean all of the candles, 68 of them. And when I say 68, that's not the exact number. That's just the number I stopped at because I was tired of counting. They're everywhere. They're just everywhere. But she's also got twice as many books as candles. And she loves to read. And I told her to read this book. And she did in one day. You freak. So she read this book, right? And this book is awesome. This book is not just for men. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. And it's subtitled A Spiritual Guide to Mastering the Challenges of Women, Work, and Sexual Desire. So it's obviously written for a man. However, the reason I love it is because I've given it to everybody. It don't matter who you are. I've given this to a ton of female friends, confidants, friends, lovers. Sometimes those blurred lines, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Sometimes they become both, and by lines I mean blurred lips, and by lips I mean you know what I'm talking about. I'll let you decide which latitude and longitude of those lips I'll be talking about. Okay. But I love this book because it's not just for men. It's more so talking about like masculine energy and feminine energy, and we all have a little bit of that, right? I think I'm like pretty much split. I love to cook, cleaning, but my top 10 or 15 things to do all time probably. But I could barely fucking set up this podcast. Everything's basically hung up here with Post-it notes and tape. I think I put together a shelf once in my life, and so that's But I love martial arts. I could talk with the dudes, slug back a brouhaha, eat a couple of wings. So I got a good balance of both. And most people kind of do. You could be 80-20 one way or the other. Who knows, right? So the book is not just about men to women. It's teaching you how to navigate energies. And in these relationships, it tells you to find a partner that's like opposite of you and whatnot. But I think if you're like balanced like me, I can also and should probably try to find somebody else who's balanced, a female that's balanced kind of 50-50. And these change day to day, mood to mood. You might not always be in your masculine. You might not always be in your feminine. Okay? Stuff gets confusing. Just because it's in the book doesn't mean it's fucking true. Okay? So take it with a grain of salt, as always. That's a play on words because I'm a chef. But also, it's real. So yeah, But don't get it twisted. This is not going to be a book review because lame. You know? This is about purpose. Most of this book teaches you as a man. There is a fucking hair in my mouth that I swear keeps multiplying. That's like Jesus. Here, there's more. Fucking. Oh my God. Anyway. Yeah, so what was I saying? Fuck me. Spiritual guide to masking. Yeah. So it's not just about like dealing with these energies and dealing with women and your relationships, but so much of it is about your purpose. And one of the big takeaways, probably the biggest takeaways, and things that I've learned through experience is that like your purpose must come before your partner. This is something that the book talks about extensively, and I could not agree more. I had this book, before my last relationship, which, I learned extensively what I did wrong in that relationship. Before I got into that relationship, I had this book, and I love this book. I read it multiple times, and I thought that I had my shit together. But, when you get down in the trenches, you kind of learn who you really are in that moment. So I thought that I had my purpose, and I thought that I was working towards it in the beginning, and I thought that I would have that first and not put anyone or anything else above my purpose, because at the end of the day, it's like your purpose is your framework. If you don't have it, you're lost. And as I got deeper and deeper into this relationship, I was lost at a certain point. At the end of working for this job, that I was still like an employee for this company, I was not happy. I was getting miserable. I was feeling lost. I knew that I wanted to do something else, and there was this drive within me that was compelling me to do so, but I couldn't figure out what the hell that was. And I was holding myself to like all these killer expectations that's what we do for ourselves all the time. It's not what the outside world, most of the outside world looks at us and says, oh, you're doing great. You're doing awesome. Keep going, Tiger. But we hold ourselves to such a high standard, and that's to our detriment. And that's exactly, what I was doing. But so I know how important it is to have your purpose and to be working towards aims. And even if you don't know what it is right away, that's fine. But if you're working towards it, I think that's still powerful. If you're not where you want to be, first of all, that's a whole nother story. Like, fix that shit. Even if you don't think that you're where you should be right now, you should change that attitude, because you're never going to really enjoy things. You have to enjoy the journey as much as you enjoy anything that you're actually striving for. But if you're on your path, I think it just takes a complete weight off of my shoulders. Like I didn't think of it in the sense of like I was letting myself down. I was thinking about like all the other people in my life. I was letting my partner down. I was letting my parents down, family, friends who saw potential in me, and my followers, and all of the people that had not met me yet, don't know my name yet, but I know that I have the potential to impact so many other people in the world. And all these people that could potentially know my name, I felt like I was letting them down, even though they don't know who I am. But maybe in another galaxy, it's all a simulation anyway, but no big deal. That drug me down, and I was super depressed about it because I lost my way. And it's so important to do that, because like when you have a purpose, no one can take it from you, first of all, and you're not at the mercy of anyone. I think that's the most important thing to mention, is like, you're not at the mercy when you have a purpose. When you're on your purpose and you're going after it, and you have goals and you're confident in them and you believe in yourself and you have that confidence, you don't fucking need anyone. It doesn't matter if like you're out in in the beginning when I started YouTube and I would like hold a vlogging camera out in public. It's weird because I wasn't confident in myself. It's not normal to see somebody do that, and I would see out of my peripherals, everybody watching and being like, this fucking guy, am I right? What a piece of shit. And, I kind of like, those are all thoughts in my head. Maybe they were thinking like, damn, I wish I could do that. Because most people are. And so you have to get past those things. But if you're on your path and your purpose and you're working towards your goals, none of that matters. You just keep going. And again, nobody can hold you back. And you're not clingy. You're not hanging on to anybody else, which is like the worst shit that you could possibly do. That's the least attractive thing that you could possibly do, is be clingy. I don't know. It's just like, why would you want to be that person? It's just kind of you're a nightmare. Nobody even wants to be friends with those people that are clingy. It's weird, but I know, frankly, I was just like comparing myself to everyone else. When you don't have a purpose, I feel like you just like put everybody else's before yours. You start comparing yourself to everyone on social media, which is a complete nightmare. Again, expectations. You can be your own worst nightmare, and I think that's definitely like what I was. But long story short, it's like no one or no thing should come before your purpose. I think a lot of people are always trying to get people to, or they want a partner that's going to complete them. That's like such a classic thing. Like, fuck Jerry Maguire. I feel like Jerry Maguire in Hollywood ruins everything. They tell you like everything that's not gonna happen for the most part. Rom-coms and all that stupid shit, and they have all these expectations for us, but like so much of that shit isn't real. You complete me. Fuck that. Like, complete yourself first so that you can be sustainable. And then if you get into a relationship and you can, get somebody to add to you, that's amazing. Everybody should strive to achieve somebody, hook up with somebody, and have them add to your life. But they should just be a supplement to you and everything that you already have going. They should not complete you, and they should not come first. Your purpose is always first. And I think that's super fucking powerful. You should be whole. And I think if you're whole, you only need yourself, really. So, we talked a lot about that, staying on your purpose. And I know Gina had a little bit of an issue with that because she had always put other people first as well. And it just kind of rots you when you do that, when you give it up for somebody else, or I put mine off too. Like when my relationship got kind of rocky, I just put that relationship first, and I wanted to save it, obviously, because I love this person, but it almost put me back even further, because you can't, that whole thing, like, it's super fucking basic and cliche at this point, but you can't pour from an empty cup. And so here I was, with that empty tassa, and I was trying to build up myself and build up the relationship and put all the pieces back together, but I didn't have a foundation to work from, so that's rough. But we talked about a whole bunch of shit like that. We talked about attitudes, which is even more powerful. Attitudes toward like your relationship, but attitudes in general, just shitty attitudes. Why you got it? Hey, be positive, and not in some stupid way. Actually be positive. Stop spending time in the past. Stop worrying about shit that people did to you in the past. Ruminating off of things that don't matter anymore. The past is a good thing as it's a tool. The past can teach you a lot, and you should be aware of the past. You should do a lot of like soul searching and deep dive and figure out like what the fuck is wrong with you. All the shit that's wrong with you right now, you should figure out why that's a thing. So, dive into your past, but don't stay there. Come back. You have to be in the present. You can't be thinking in the future all the time either. I feel like past and future are just, things you should use as tools. Things that you've learned from in the past and the goals that you're working towards in the future. But you have to be in the present all the time. So how are you going to, work on your relationship if you're stuck in the past or thinking about the future? Or working on yourself. Fucking another, relationship. But And as far as expectations for relationships, it's the same thing. Don't get caught up on how shit used to be or how it should be, how you think it should be. Or, you know, I hear this all the time. I feel like from mostly girls, but it happens from guys too. So mostly girls get caught up in that whole, oh, guys are all the same and fucking they're all assholes or they're taken or married or gay. And that's just a shitty fucking way to look at things, because your RAS, whether you want to call it the secret or you want to call it law of attraction or your reticular activation system, whatever you're focusing on is the only thing you're going to focus on. Where attention flows, energy goes, or whatever that quote is. That shit is real to a certain sense. I definitely agree with that. How are you going to stay focused on what you want if you're thinking about what you don't want constantly? What people did to you. You know, this person did this. Every relationship I'm in, this is what I hear all the time. Every relationship that I'm in, this is my basic girl voice. Every relationship's the same. All fucking guys are the same, and I always get fucked in my relationship. Hey, you're the only common denominator, you turd. Everybody else is changing around you. The relationships change. What are you doing wrong that the same thing keeps happening to you? I don't know. And apparently you don't know either. So you have to figure that shit out. Every moment that you spend in the past or just like thinking about anything that's not what you want is defense. You're playing defense. You're playing that prevent defense, baby. If you don't know what prevent defense is, you obviously don't watch football, okay? But it's terrible. Everybody that plays prevent defense gets scored on anyway. You think they would learn. But yeah, Google prevent defense, play some fucking Madden, read a book, you dum-dum. It's just not a good place to be. The game is about offense. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want, and go after that. So a lot of relationships are about like expectations. We talk about timing too. That's another thing. But I don't want to give up too much of the podcast. I want you to actually go. You know, series of unfortunate dates. Gina Ruccione. Gina, I didn't come to sleep. Ruccione. Gina, the emoji that's upside down doing a cartwheel. Ruccione. She sends that to me. 9 out of 10 text messages have the cartwheel person in it. What a fucking nightmare. But yeah, it's like the expectations that you set for yourself. There's no problems in this life without your mind. There's no problems. There's just situations. And you attach the gravity. And when you attach the gravity or a meaning to everything, you give meaning to everything in your life. And when you're just stuck in that place, and that gravity, the emotion of that gravity is just fucking bringing you down. Like, that shit is a cancer, and it's just like a perpetual cycle. It's that vicious cycle that's why people get stuck in these relationships and they can't figure out what's going on. But I'm gonna cut this real quick because I think my clip is about to shut off my camera. So, BRB. All right, we're back. Okay, so one sec. Let me take a swig. Let me take a swig of this water because it's way fucking hotter in here than it should be. I got this candle. My roommate's been making candles like it's their fucking job recently, and they smelled lovely. So I got another candle. I got too many layers on. Okay, so is it partly my fault? Probably, but hey, this is my show, so fuck off. Okay, what was I talking about? Yeah, attaching energy to shit that doesn't matter. Don't do it. You know, the whole like secret thing or RAS that I was talking about. This is okay. Think about it this way: the RAS, reticular activation system, is kind of like that thing where you're like, hey, I'm in the mood for a new car, right? Or I'm in the market for a new car. So you're like thinking about it, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get this Cadillac, right? Oh, hold up. Okay, I got something. This is just gonna really seal it home. Just give me 1 second. It's gonna really drive this point home. Just do. Another message from our Sponsors that we don't have. 1 second. Okay, so let's say, let's rewind it. Hey, you want to know how the RAS works? When was the last time you were in the market for a new car and you were like, hey, I'm trying to get me a new Cadillac and possibly even... Man, you know, you try to throw some D's on the bitch. No, I'm not even really sure what that means, to be honest. But say you want to buy a new Cadillac, and the moment you decide that, they're everywhere. They're all over the street. You know, before you were like, I've seen like 2 Cadillacs in my life, and now they're in my backyard. That's kind of that thing. Or what's that classic one? It's on my knee, first of all. Second of all, what's that classic one where everyone's like,
Oh, well, I didn't realize how many mattress stores are on my street until I needed a new mattress.
yeah, that. Whatever you like, that whole attention and energy, where that shit goes, everything flows. I feel like there's a lot of truth to that. You know, you feel me? You feel me? So that's how it works. Whether you want to call it The Secret or you want to, there's science to it, who fucking knows? But every single moment that you spend thinking about something else that's not your goals is only holding you back. And that's a fucking nightmare. So, hey, don't do that anymore. You got to change your mindset quite a bit. So, but I'm not saying this is easy. You know, relationships are dynamics. These relationship dynamics are changing left and right. You know, it's hard to even tell the difference between what's masculine and feminine these days. You know, you got Justin Bieber out there. You know, I actually got something to say about Bieber a little bit later. But you got Bieber, not the most masculine guy. And yet, all of the vaginas. You know, he's got one now, but he for so long had all of the vaginas. And probably still could. You know, what's masculine and feminine? People are switching out the peenies and their ginies left and right these days. You know, they're deciding. Like, I remember back in the day, like, people would just ask you, "Hey, what do you think your spirit animal is?" Now people are actually identifying as their spirit animals. One day they're Peter, one day they're Ashley, the next day they're a fucking seahorse. I'm as confused as you are. It's ridiculous. So that's fucking weird. I'm not saying it's easy. You know, girls want more money. They want this. They want to have equality. That's all great and fine and dandy. But then they cherry pick a little bit. We also touched about this on the podcast with Gina, which you should listen to and subscribe. And if you're not subscribed on my channel, you should probably do that. Yeah. We also talked about that. Damn, it's like, you know, this shit is hard. It's really hard. Like, little kids are getting hormone replacement therapy. Little boys are pumping estrogen into their veins before they even, like, had the opportunity to hump a couch cushion. You know, get that dry rub in. That, Chef Curry with the couch, boy. And a little salt, a little pepper, and a whole lot of cum in. Everyone just left the chat room. I wish I had put that door in. You know, it's crazy. So girls want all this equality, but then they're cherry picking, and then they want the dudes to still do all the hard shit, right? Be mostly the provider for most women. You know, they want all the alimony. They want all the child support, and they still want all of the chivalry, which is great. I'm a chivalrous dude. You know, I love chivalry. But they want dudes to always be making the first move and always doing the approaching, right? When was the last time a chick went up to you and was like, "Hey, your ass look good in them jeans, player"? That shit doesn't happen. I'll tell you, I don't have any problem going up and doing the approaching because there's a little bit of like anxiety involved. And for me, that's like working on myself, you know? No matter how many times I've gone up to a girl, you know, it's a lot. Like I said, the well does not runneth dry in that department. But I like doing that. You know, I feel like more of a man when I'm approaching women, and that's great. But I'll tell you this. If I don't like what you're wearing, I'm not coming up to you. You know? Hey, girls with Reebok sports bra and you got Pumas? Fuck no. 86, that shit. Not happening. I don't care. You know why? Because I'm a man of my purpose. And I don't need you in my life. If you look ridiculous, I'm not going to fucking walk around with you, you kook. You know, this peasant. What kind of peasant wears Adidas flip-flops and like a Nike visor? Also, who wears visors? That was the most 90s throwback ever. But I ain't going to do it. Hey, and also, chicks with hats. Chicks or dudes with hats. The bigger the hat, this is a lesson for everybody. The bigger the hat, the more crazy you are. Right? That's just true. The more crazy you are, by the bigger the hat. Look at Jared Leto, for instance. Jared Leto, Johnny Depp. You're crazy. Every girl I've ever met that wears big hats, high maintenance. Okay? I'm not going to fucking do it. If I was smart enough, maybe there's a follower out there, you could definitely figure out a algorithm or an equation about the circumference to crazy ratio. Now, I would love if somebody could make that happen. It's a real fucking thing, and I think it should be studied like unicorns. But I ain't gonna do it if I don't like it. That's a fucking trap. Big hats are a trap. You know, you get in a relationship with that, and she probably play it cool for the first month. You know, the first month she's probably like, you know, she's probably the best. Dinner on the table every night. You know, she's got back massages, a little HJ before bed. But then like month 2, month 3 rolls around. Babe, I had a long day. Can you rub my feet? The bigger the hat, the more feet rubs. You know? And it's just the same type of girl that'll be like, babe, I've been so tired. Like, even though I'm sitting next to you on my Instagram and you're clearly working on something that's important over here 2 feet away from me, can you like go get me some water? Because I just can't right now. I just can't right now. Stay the fuck away. And 86 that from your life. 86 that shit. Now, what am I talking about? Basically nothing. Basically nothing. Does it make any sense? Probably not. Okay. But yeah, on that note, let's take some calls, shall we? I'll be right back. All right. Guess who's back? Chef is back again. All right, let's get into this first call. My brother Nick, who I've known for a little bit, he's been following me for a hot second, and super cool dude. I'm going to play this. He sent me a video. Also, it's like a motivational video for people that can't see. You're not going to see that, so sucks to be you. But I'm going to play this voicemail that he sent me. And, yeah, we'll go from there. So this is, he goes by the name of Tick Tick Nick. So hold up. Producer. I mean, she didn't even have... No, that's not it. That's me. Okay.
Hey, Mikie. I just want to leave this message. I don't know if this is for everyone to hear. If so, everyone listening, I'm going to go ahead and assume.
First of all, I hope he's not hostage, because he sounds like he's in distress.
That you all have fallen before, got back up. When we're little, we have our parents helping us back up. Sometimes we do it ourselves. We forget when we're older, we start getting too prideful. So when we fall down or things get tough, we want to take care of everything by ourselves. We don't want to swallow our pride and ask for help. So real quick, I want to give a little quote. Transformations
Fucking love quotes.
do not happen in isolation. So start swallowing that pride, that ego, and go ahead and allow yourself to ask for help, to have someone help you with whatever it is. Maybe you fell literally. Maybe you fell mentally, physically, emotionally. You're going to get up. Just don't be too proud to ask someone to help you. And I want you to always remember that if it's easy, I don't want it. Say that to yourself all the time, no matter what comes up. If it's easy, I don't want it. Because if it's easy, it's never going to be worth it. And we all know that, but we forget. So always tell yourself when you see an opportunity, when you see a person you want to pursue, anything, if it's easy, I don't want it.
Damn, bro. Fire. That is a fire message right there. So, no, hey, man. Hey, Nick. You had your time, all right? You can't start over again. But, dude, thank you so much for sending that in. Fuck, that was powerful. I'm going to be honest, bro. I listened to... First of all, again, I hope you're okay, because you sound like somebody's, tied you up somewhere and just giving you a chance to call into the Realest podcast. And which, at that point, thank you. What are those people called? Kidnappers? Nicknappers? Thanks for calling into the Realest podcast, episode 2. Appreciate your support as well. But yeah, so thank you. And I hope you're okay. But yeah, I listened to your voicemail like 10 times, dude. Something about your voice, like you spoke your truth through that whole thing, man. And I could not agree more. So for listeners, I'm going to play like a little bit of clip of this for the YouTube. If you're not on the YouTube, you're missing out like always, because it's a whole bunch of fun over here. But I'm going to play, you would notice in the video that Nick it's like him training martial arts like a boss. And you can tell, I know this obviously because I've spoken to him, and by the name of his username, Tick Tick Nick, the Tick Tick is because this man, he's got the Tourette's, syndrome. Now, what is Tourette's? I feel like it's so misunderstood in the limelight. Like when I was younger, I thought the Tourette's was just like a traveling dance crew, like they opened up for the Jabberwockies back in the day. And then when I was like 8 or something, and my family took me to New York City. New York City? Who says New York City? Definitely people that are not from there. We went to New York, and then I realized, or what I thought in my head, I was like, oh shit, the only way to get Tourette's is if you're homeless. Like they were giving that shit out like a diploma or something. Like you graduated, here's your diploma, like, oh, you lost your home, here's your Tourette's. Oh, the wife left you and took all the kids. I have some friends, but no one else is going to see them, but they're in your head, so they must be true. Just keep talking. Don't worry about what everyone else says. So I thought it was kind of like that. I had no idea, and I think that's the problem. Like most people in the world don't even really know the difference. Like what is Tourette's? I feel like Tourette's doesn't really have they don't really have somebody speaking for them. And I think that's what's really powerful about Nick is that he's trying to do something. I think he's trying to be an advocate. Like think about it, in the limelight, who's got the Kanye, Jaden Smith, possibly our president. There's a few, but they're not necessarily the best role models. So maybe this is like, where Tick Tick Nick comes through. And it's got to be, I don't know anything about it. I do know that it's not all about like all the shit that you see in South Park. People aren't just yelling all the time. That's not exactly what Tourette's is. It's like it's been described to me as like a itch, like a million itches. And you just the tick is what releases it. So man, that's gotta be tough. I mean, even just finding like friends, like, do you have any friends that have Tourette's? Most people probably don't. I don't see people out here adopting a Tourette'sman. Think about it. Like, everybody wants to adopt the cute dogs and everything, the perfect dogs. Would you adopt a dog that's like 1 minute chewing on his bone and then the next minute he's shouting the N-word at the mailman out the window? Unlikely. It's unlikely. So it's got to be, it's got to be rough. No pun intended. Doggone it. But that's got to be tough. But I will say, man, maybe this is your time. Maybe this is the time for Tourette's to come into the limelight. Like there's for sure a movement. If you think about, who is it? Guess? What's the big there's a big brand working right now with Down syndrome. Gerber. Gerber. It's the new Down syndrome baby. The new Gerber baby has Down syndrome. That's fucking powerful. That is a massive win, you know, for everyone, for our world, for the people living in it, and the stigma. That's powerful. So, man, Nick, let everybody go subscribe to Nick. I'm gonna put his information in here. Go support the fella. You know, maybe he's the next Jesus of Tourette's. You know, that could be pretty powerful. So, yeah. That's pretty cool, Nick. Thank you so much, man. And everything you said on top of that, like your message is 100% right. Like, I think so often we don't want to ask for help. We are too prideful. Like I mentioned earlier about my dad is this like work hard person. You know, if you want shit done, you got to get it done yourself. I'm very much that way. And I'm trying to change that because it's not always the most smart way to operate. And, you know, you can pick yourself up. I've done it a lot. You know, I've put myself in the seclusion when I was hurting and I got out of it. But it helps to have friends. It helps to have a community that cares about you. And I spoke about this last week. It's so important to go out and find people that actually that vibe and connect with you and want to help you and want to lift you up when you're down. You know, you can do the shit on your own, but, you know, life is better together. Straight up. And, teamwork makes the dream work, as they say. You know, we're all just fragile people when you think about it. And especially nowadays, dude, people get so offended about everything. You know, obviously I'm just taking the piss out of you, Nick. If you want to call in and roast me next week, you know, I'm just having fucking fun here. But at the end of the day, I support every single person that comes in and out of my life, but people take everything so seriously, dude. Like, when was it? 2 days ago. What year is it? It's the 3rd. 2 days ago, April 1st, April Fool's Day, right? Justin Bieber just took a fuck ton of flack because, like every other person, basic. They did him and his girlfriend, wife, Haley, the blonde chick. What's her fucking? Who cares? Doug Baldwin, from the Seattle Seahawks. Is it Doug Baldwin? They tried to fool everybody and be like, "We're pregnant," like everyone does, and he caught so much shit. The next day, April 2nd, he put out a big thing that was like, I'm sorry. This is in my head. This is how Justin Bieber sounds. Guys, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I actually like Bieber. I'm a believer through and through. But he had to apologize. And I'm sure, obviously, like, you're that big and, like, your PR team and they're telling you to apologize. But, hey, you're apologizing. He said that he didn't mean to offend anyone that wasn't able to have kids. That means people are, like, I guess, infertile, are being like, hey, that's fucked up that you made a joke about having a child. No. Fuck no. People are so soft. We don't go through any, like, trials and like real shit. All of our problems we make up and we create. You know, we're safe. Nobody's out there, like, we're not running from animals. Food is everywhere. We have shelter for the most part. You know, we are so safe and we don't go through any real struggles, and people are just out there trying to find something and come at people. And this goes back to, like, probably the jealousy thing. And first of all, where do I start? The whole jealousy thing, that goes back to, like, the Nipsey Hussle. You know, people, that's obviously a way more extreme version of it, but, like, people are so fucking jealous and envious. When you don't figure out what the fuck is wrong with you, you don't make changes to, I don't know, you don't get help, you don't get therapy, you don't journal, you don't make changes that you need, and then you see other people and you start making the comparisons, everything that I just talked about. Dude, that shit rots you to your fucking core. And then the combination of envy and some shit that you didn't figure out what's wrong with you, that's a nightmare. And I think, you know, on obviously at the one end of the continuum is the Nipsey Hussle. I can't even imagine doing that. I shot a gun for the first time the other day, and it's not like I was scared of it, but I was just like, in my head, I knew exactly what that gun can do, and I can't even imagine being so envious and being so fucked up that I wanted to point it, not only plan it, drive there the whole time. You're probably listening to fucking Spotify and being like, at no point do you back out of the plan, and then you go there, and then you aim, you put your finger on the trigger, you pull the trigger, and you want to take somebody's life. I cannot fucking imagine that at all. And then, you know, if it's not a real trigger, it's it's Twitter fingers, or whatever that Drake line is. Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. That sounded more like, I don't know, some other rapper. Damn, dude, like, that shit is a cancer, you know? And then on top of that, Bieber should have come up with something that's a little more unique, you know? The whole we're pregnant thing. Come on, Justin. Come on, Justin. At least, like, I don't know, do better, you know? Figure out something that's creative. Like, hey, fake Tourette's. Can you imagine Justin Bieber? TMZ. Hi, we're live on TMZ. I've never watched the show, quite honestly. I don't know how it goes, but everyone sounds like that for these shows. So, hi, we're live on This Is Bob at TMZ. And Justin Bieber woke up this morning with Tourette's syndrome. Now, first it was the Purpose Tour, and now it's the Purpose Tourette's. Bob? What a nightmare. I'm a fucking nightmare. But anyway, that's ridiculous. I don't know, man. People, you can't do that. People are like snakes. They want to come after you, whether it's envy or whatever. They just get a rise out of people like trolling. Hey, come troll at me, baby. I just want a trolley, and a dabber in. I don't know any of those words because I don't think anybody does. Come troll at me. I'll troll back. I'm a troll back. But people are like snakes. It's kind of like fucked up relationships. You know, I've been in relationships where they like, you know, just like the girls with the big hats. Little by little, they're inching in on you. They're inching in. They're like snakes. They're wrapped around you all cuddly. You know, they're cuddling you at first. And little by little, every time you exhale, every time she asks you to do something and you acquiesce, you just, okay, now what? What's next? Babe, can you fucking just, all right, but I can't. I'm just not. Yeah, babe, I've had such a bad. That's how people on Twitter are. And Justin had to apologize, and that's stupid. You should not apologize for a fucking April Fool's joke that everyone has done. It's the most popular / basic / not creative April Fool's joke, you know? And he apologized, and I think that sucks. I think as soon as you do that, people got you. You got you by the cojones, you know, and that's pretty fucked up. What else? What else happened? What I want to talk about? We could take another. I don't have another call, but I do have a question that kind of ties into all this banter that we were just talking about. Kate Kaz. This chick asked a question last week, and I wasn't going to share this one, but I said it ties in, but it's like, are you looking forward to settling down, having a wife, having kids, all of that nonsense? And yeah, like, this whole thing has been following me for quite some time now. My friend just got married. People are having babies. All my friends from back home in Pennsylvania, married, kids. I think about it a lot, for sure. And there's definitely a big part of me that feels like I'm in a place now where I could devote more time, and especially if the person's like super supportive. Hell yeah. I mean, everybody talks about how like you don't really know love until you have a child of your own. You know, somebody that I volunteer with just had a baby, and I was just looking at that baby the other day, and I was like, oh my God, you're a baby. You know, they're just so cute. They're so easy to love. As you know, somebody else's baby is so easy to love, let alone your own. And hell yeah, I want a little, you know, I want a little African or something. A little half Caucasian. Half Caucasian? Is that a term? Half Caucasian, you know? Get a little, find a lady, you know, of the low Asian persuasion. Maybe the Filipino Grigio, you know? And then get a little froey mini-me running around. Hell yeah, I want that. But I don't know. I think that'll all come with time. So that's like, I guess, fuck it. I don't really have anything else to say. Yeah. But as far as like what age is concerned, I'm not rushing it. When that shit happens, I've noticed that like I just haven't put the attention into it. And that's why it's not here. It is so fucking hot in here. Social media is fucking weird though. I want to go back to that. Social media is crazy in a sense. You know, everyone just like, we're so connected. I had this a conference call with a potential client, and he was in Saudi Arabia. And it's so insane how we can be so far away. And I remember being on the call and just honestly, I kind of have, despite the fact that it's so fucking hot in here, I kind of have goosebumps thinking about it because it's surreal to hearing another person's voice on the other side and saying like he's been following me for a year and how much, you know, he's looking forward to potentially working with me and, you know, getting one of my coaching programs. And I don't know, it's so cool. Like we're all the fucking, when it comes down to it, we're all the same. But why are some of us born here in the US and why are some people born in Saudi Arabia? I don't know, but we're all fucking connected. And that's what, it doesn't make sense. It makes it, social media is great to connect people, but it's also like we don't have the real connection. So I think that's why people pop off and have those Twitter fingers, because there's no real repercussions on the other side, you know. But it's cool. It's really cool. I don't know. I wish I may never meet that person, but I think, you know, it's still possible through social media, even though it gets a bad rap, to really, really connect with people if you put the intention in. And then there's a whole other side of it, which is social media is kind of weird as shit in the sense that like people just walk around and like listen to things out loud now. Everyone's got a computer in their pocket and people are just listening to this shit out loud. Like girls, it's a nightmare. Everyone's FaceTiming each other. People, where has all of the chivalry, not even chivalry, where has all the decency and the common sense gone? People are just out and they're FaceTiming and they're yelling louder than they need to. And that other person now is yelling on the other side. It's not like phone calls where everyone's like, you know, quiet and you can't hear the other person. Now you have to listen to everybody on the other side. Fuck that. No, I'm over here trying to like work and I got to listen to you. People listen to the stories. There's nothing more annoying than somebody going through a story or a slew of stories, especially if it's after a Friday or Saturday night and it's 19 stories of people at a club. And it's just like, yas, B. And it's just people saying yas or A. And it's like the same songs. 4 on the floor. Yes. 7 stories later. Yes. I cannot fucking handle that. And people just think that they can listen to that. Or they can play it. And no one else around them matters. People are so wrapped up in themselves. So there's like 2 sides of social media. It's fucking wild. Or but how about people that listen to music out loud? People that bump speakers. They're walking down the street and always a black dude. It's never ever been anybody else but a black dude. I think it comes with the melanin. I don't know how that works. There's never been a white guy that's walked around with their JBL in their pocket and bumped music. Hey, again, I'm trying to do shit over here. I'm not trying to hear like Tupac, you know? That's why I fucked your bitch. You know, they're walking by a nursery. No, I don't give a shit. Hey, man, I'm trying to read a book. I'm not trying to listen to Lil Boosie. Right? So that's fucking weird. Also, black people with their what are those? The OG Bluetooths. They fucking love those things. If you're black, hey, I love you. But why do you guys love those so much? I feel like if you could bring back those same people, if you could bring back beepers or Nextel chirps, also the most annoying thing in the world, also worst idea ever, they would bring those back. Walkie-talkies, again. I don't want to hear your shit. Bye-bye. But social media is still pretty cool, man. Long story short, I don't know why I fucking, got on to some guy. I think you know what it is. I think that people is like, maybe it's just, maybe it's only black people, because it's like nobody's buying their mixtape anymore, so they gotta tell people about it. Hey, you ain't trying to buy my mixtape, but I'm gonna make sure you hear that shit. That's it. I think I just solved it. Never mind. But social media is weird in a weird fucking sense. Like you can look back at people and stalk people that you haven't talked to in forever. The other day on Facebook, I don't really go on Facebook, but like one of my old friends, actually like my first girlfriend, my first kiss, she got a job, and she's such a sweetheart. I'm not even really talking shit, but it kind of am. I kind of am. What did she say? Something about like Eastern Region Information Systems Division Support Auditor is this new job that she just got. What is that? I realize that this is why life is cool and life is beautiful, because you don't understand how other people work, their brains, their minds, their interests, wants, needs. And everybody's like, we need each other to coexist. Like companies don't work if it was all creatives or if it was all logistics. You need both people. You need everybody's nuances and the way they think, and everybody's differences to learn. Or why, if everybody was the same, it would be fucking stupid, right? So we need different people in this world. And it's not my job to necessarily understand, but I don't understand how anybody could do that. Like, talk about purpose. How is that your purpose? The only purpose for having an Eastern Region Information Systems Division Support Auditor job is to make somebody else rich and bore the fuck out of somebody that asks what you do for a living at a party.
Hi, my name's Steve. What's your name? Hi, my name's Linda. Oh, great, Linda. What do you do? Oh, I'm an Eastern Region Information System. Hey, where are you going? Every time. That's me. I'll just walk away because I'm not interested. How much I love people and all, you're gonna stand there. You're gonna stand there and go, cool. I heard the bar is nice. That's crazy. But I get it. Everyone's different. I love her. I'm not really talking shit, but I'm just saying, like, I can't imagine doing that for a living. And everybody's purpose is different at the end of the day. We all have many different purposes, small, large, daily, long term. And everybody's purpose is different. She's a super sweetheart, and she's got, she's married. She's got multiple kids. Like, that's probably her right now, and they're all young kids. I think she's got like 2 or 3. And that's probably her main purpose right now. And that's fine. We live 2 different lives, and that's fine, but it's so crazy. I don't get it. But yeah, it's weird that you can like look back, and even though these people aren't in our lives anymore, we can just kind of like creep on them and just check up every once in a while. If it was real life, you would be a peeping Tom and you would be in jail, right? But it's not. You're just a ghost follower. A ghost follower who doesn't engage or isn't active. But that's weird, right? I don't know, man. That's probably all I gotta say. We're running kind of late. I'm not even sure what time this is. Hold on, let me cut one more time to make sure I'm not losing this footy, and I'll be right back. All right. Last thing, but not least, what I want to say is, like I said last week, one of the biggest reasons I'm doing this is not only for my selfish reasons, but I want to support as many people as possible. That's why we have call-ins. That's why we have video calls. And so I want to maybe I'll do this every week. I haven't decided towards the end, but I want to support somebody. Obviously, support Nick, the Tourettesman that called in earlier. Support him. I'm going to put his information down low. But also, my sister Skylar, real quick. You know her. I've collaborated with her in the past. We did a bunch of cooking videos. Skylar Joy Official. Last week, moved away because they called her, they meaning TV show people, and they were like, sister, pack your bags. We're coming to scoop you in 3 horas. And she packed her bags and she left. She had been going back and forth between Atlanta, auditioning like 8 times or something ridiculous. They selected another chick. Skylar doesn't have a lot of IMDb credits. She's like, 22, 23. She's super young, but she's fucking talented. She's super talented. So funny, great actress. So she doesn't have a lot of credits, and they chose one girl ahead of her, and then that girl, I guess, didn't work out. And then they chose another girl ahead of her, and she was going back and forth this whole time, and that girl didn't work out. And they called her, and they were like, Sister Skylar, it's your turn, baby girl. So they called her. She left. She moved to Atlanta last week, and it's not just a small role. It is a leading role. She's the lead character in a new series. I can't say anything else, but I just wanted to say, Skylar, if you're watching, I love you, girl. Proud of you. And actually, real quick, this goes back to, we can wrap this up, the whole jealousy, envy conversation that I was talking about before. I realized, like, growth in myself, maybe 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, sometimes, even though I was still happy for people around me, I was always doing that comparison thing. And always, like, I wasn't confident in myself like I should have been. And I was always doing that comparison thing with people in my life, with social media. And anytime good news would happen for somebody, I wasn't as happy deep down as I should be. And last week, I know this makes me really happy, and this might be like a humble brag, but I just want to share with you, if you are watching this right now and you think that, like, oh, I feel that. When somebody else tells me good news, there's a part of me that's like envious, or you're not even necessarily as happy as you should be, or whatever. I used to do that all the time. And Skylar called me, and she was like almost in tears. She was so fucking happy. And I was so happy for her that there was it was just instant happiness. And I think that comes with growth. And I think it obviously comes with like how much love I have for my friends, and how much love I have for Skylar. So that's definitely probably part of it. But yeah, I can tell, like, whatever work that I put on myself is working, and maybe I'm just more comfortable right now. I'm on my purpose. I feel like I'm going somewhere. Who knows where that is going, but what did Mitch Hedberg say? I'm tired of following my dreams. I'm just going to catch up with them later. But I think that's a good way to end this. Last week, podcast, so many good things came in, so much support. I want to thank you. This week, iTunes officially accepted and approved the podcast, so you can find it. You can search on iTunes. I'll put a link below. Spotify, I'm not even sure. Google, it's going to be on all of those. But definitely through iTunes. Please subscribe and support if you love this. Subscribe to Gina's podcast. Amazing things. There's going to be so much more. I'm working on a ton of content, actual cooking content, really dope stuff that I'm super excited about. And that's it, man. I just want to say thank you. I love you guys so much. Episode 2, Realest podcast in the books. Peace, love, bacon grease, my gnocchis. Chef, out.
Look, God bless this life that we live in. Although we clearly divided, whole visions go past ceilings. Minds become enlightened. God bless these people in fear. Just know you're not alone. Just know you lead your own life regardless who takes the throne. Protesters protest while we walk the street.